Welcome to Mind Matter. We're joined by Kinga Barron from One Door Mental Health and Dr Aline Nassar from STOCHOS Sydney, Australia, to give their advice for improving mental health. I begin today by acknowledging the Bedigal people of Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on where I am today at Share Head Office, and I pay respect to their elders past, present, and emerge. This month is a mental health month, and what a fitting occasion this is after the last few months. Lots of challenges to our mental health over the past few months. We hope to bring you practical advice for reducing stress and boosting resilience as we move forward. Please let me introduce our first guest speaker, Kinga Barron. Kinga Barron from One Door Mental Health, experienced leader with demonstrated history of working in mental health and disability. In her current position and previous position, she has been a strong supporter for people living with mental health. So I will pass to Kinga.
Thank you very much. Very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Kinga. I work for One Door Mental Health, and my organization is supporting people who are living with mental health, their families and carers. And our mission is to create a world in which people with mental illness are valued and treated as equal. I believe all of you are aware that mental health includes emotional, psychological, social well-being, and it affects how we think, how we feel, and how we act. It also determines how we handle stress related to others and how we make healthy choices. Mental health is important in every stage of a life, from childhood, adolescence through adulthood, and when we're starting getting a bit older and starting going into the senior years. I do believe starting with mental health, it starts with ourselves. We need to give ourselves permission that it is okay to not be okay. And it is okay to feel vulnerable. It is okay to talk about your emotions. It is okay to cry. It is okay to scream sometimes and being angry. And it is okay to ask for help. The current situation where I believe every single individual, regardless of our race, regardless of our age, beliefs, values, were very impacted by the pandemic, were very impacted by being isolated, not being able to connect with our loved ones, our friends, our neighbors, and our community. And the anxiety level, isolation did increase, and it will take a time to go back to the new normal. So I just want to make you all aware that it is okay to not necessarily step into the life as it was before. It is okay to just pause for a second and maybe start being a little bit more aware what is happening with ourselves, what our body is telling us. And I work in a mental health for 25 years. And during my recent conversation with people who did experience the very long haul of lockdown and pandemic, everyone was saying that the one thing they learn, it is that resilience, that, you know, today is a new day and we can start making changes, and we can start thinking a little bit different. Couple of strategies what I would like to share with you, what you can do to improve your wellness is keep active. regular exercises can boost your self-esteem and can help you to concentrate, sleep, and feel better. And those exercises don't need to be extremely, you don't need to go to the gym. It can start just with the gentle stretches, going for a little walk. And additionally to that, if you can try to invite somebody to go with you or walk with you or have that cup of coffee, because connecting with a human being after we rely on technology for such a long time, and I believe a lot of people stop talking to each other, stop have that touch with human being. It was just easier to send text message or send the email or just don't talk to anyone. And now when the restrictions are easing, obviously, please make sure you keep yourself safe and make sure you feel safe. But it might be a time that you start talking to human beings instead of just partaking in a workshop, webinars, just having that human touch, because it is important that we are staying connected and not just connect via those links. What it is very helpful, but connected with other human being. And that can start that you just say hi to your neighbor. It can start that you start talking to a person you never talked before. And don't be afraid to ask for help. If you don't feel well, it doesn't matter how small and trivial that might be. Go to your GP, ask for referrals, call helplines, and there's a lot of friendly people who will navigate and help you to connect with appropriate services or connect with others. Thank you.
Thank you, Kinga. I will now introduce you to Dr. Aline Nassar. Dr. Aline Nassar holds a doctoral degree in educational administration, a master in physiology of education, and a bachelor degree in nursing. Throughout her career, Aline has served as a CEO, Director of Health Affairs, Executive Consultant and Advisor, a Corporate Chief Nursing Officer, and a Chief Quality Officer. Thank you, Dr. Aline, and I move to you now.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Rania. Thank you, Kamal, for all the support she's given. And thank you to Mr. Prakash, who's not with us today, for the invite to speak. I'm very delighted to be with you all. I want to share my screen because I would like to share with you a few slides. I like photos and using visuals. So today what I'm going to talk to you about is we're all going to see how we can beat stress before it beats us. We all know that emotions overpower our mind. So if we're happy, we smile, we're very accepting, we like everything around us and everything seems so colored and beautiful. But when we are sad, on the other end, everything seems so dull and we have no interest in doing anything and we end up wanting to go out. And we've been through a lot of mixed emotions throughout the lockdowns that we've been through, and we got to points where now restrictions are eased, but we don't really feel we want to go out because there is still uncertainty and we're still worried and concerned. Now, the one thing that I need to discuss with you is that we are all different, so we don't all reveal our emotions the same way. Because we come from different backgrounds, we have different personalities, our situations differ, our age, our gender, our experiences, all of that impacts how we reveal our emotions. So if I'm sad, I might cry, but someone else who's probably is more sad will just be like no reaction, as in no crying, nothing, just want to isolate themselves. So this is why I'm saying this, because it's important for us to understand that we don't all reveal our emotions the same way. So we shouldn't look at what others do and do it ourselves. We're not expected to copy what others do be it expressing or handling stress. We all need to create our own ways to handle stress and to deal with our emotions, because we are different, our expectations and our requirements are different. What controls what we do and what we say and how we react and how we feel? It's all those emotions that we go through. And what causes stress and worry and anxiety? It's also those emotions that we feel and we go through. Emotions are very powerful, and they have a domino effect and a ripple effect. If I'm feeling sad, everything else seems so gloomy, and one added thing will make me even feel more sad. On the other hand, if I'm happy, I'm more accepting and everything seems fine. Even if something sad happens, I'm more accepting because I'm happy, I'm in a good mood. And this is where we want to be. We want to take ourselves to that state of being accepting, happy, in a good mood. So when sad things happen, we don't react the same way. We don't want emotions to have that domino effect on us when they are sad emotions. Because when we have those unpleasant emotions, like uncertainty, for example, we start making assumptions and we start getting those thoughts and ideas, and we get stressed and we become more reactive to things as they happen. Because we're worried, we focus on the problem. We don't look for a solution because we are so focused on the bad things or the sad things that are happening. And when we are scared, we start looking for reasons, probably pointing fingers, blaming, because of this, because of lockdown, I am so sad. Well, maybe not because of lockdown I'm sad, because it's my choice to be sad, because lockdown also had good things that brought to us as people, being with our families, having time with ourselves, doing more quality things that we needed to do. So it's how we handle those emotions. And the reason is, when we feel we're not in control, we cannot anticipate the future. We're not certain what will happen next. We get worried and more worried, and we get stressed and anxious. Now, it is very important to recognize when we are under pressure and stressed. But what is more significant is to develop strategies to cope, or develop ways to cope with our stress. Because as humans, we don't have control over how we feel. Because those emotions and those feelings are a fact. We cannot get away with them. We can't shove them under the carpet or put them in the drawer. And we should not do so. It is all right to feel pressured and stressed and sad. But what we have control over is how we deal with those emotions, how we manage them. The very first important thing is not to internalize. Don't put them inside and keep them to myself and try to hide them away, because they will affect me. I need to express my feelings, and it is very important to do so. Let's try to look at the positive in a situation. And please trust your wisdom. Please trust your capacity that you can do it, because you've been through a lot before, and probably a lot harder than this, and you made it. Why can't you make it this time? So think of those positive wins and small wins and positive situations you've been through where you were really strong and you were able to cope. And that would reassure you that if I've done it before, I can still do it, but I just have to find the way. And this helps me look at the positive, and if I don't find a positive, I will create a positive out of a situation. And remember to persevere. Do not give up on yourself or your ability, because it only takes willpower, mindset, and practice. And always remember, do it in groups. Don't isolate yourself. If you have a friend, if you have a family member, connect with people, talk. If you don't have friends or family members that you are able to connect with now, seek help, talk to someone. Don't isolate yourself. Don't try to handle it on your own, because we are stronger together and we are in this all together. So we move forward as a group. with support and help that we have. Can we please try to mute? Thank you. So my advice to you is to engage in things that help you emotionally. So think positively, transform your thinking, transform your emotions, and work hard on doing it, and be conscious when you do it. I want to think positively. I want to think about happy things. Look at photos you have, and that would recreate those situations and those times, the happy times, and that would be happy memories that bring smile to your face and transform your mood. Read, but read happy things. Watch happy programs. Get away from the news for some times. You don't always have to watch the news that bring more sadness and more stress and more anxiety. Work on things and do things that change your mood. Make sure that you sleep well and you sleep enough. Don't keep yourself awake because you're thinking and you're just anticipating and bringing more thoughts that probably don't even exist, and making yourself more worried and more anxious. Eat nutritious food and eat healthy because it helps with your mood and transforming your mood. Make sure that when you wake up in the morning, you open the windows, bring in fresh air, bring in sunlight to the room, and go out, go for a walk. If you can exercise, that's beautiful. Walking is exercise. You can do more exercise, even better. But just go out in nature, even if it was cold or even if it was a bit hot. Grab your water and go out for a walk. It doesn't have to be for an hour or a long time. It could be 10 to 15 minutes. Just change your environment, change your ambience, and change your mood with that. And do things that you enjoy. You like to cook, go cooking. Bake, knit, write, read, do anything that help you change your mood. And make sure to connect with people, be it family, friends. You can connect over the phone, you can connect in person, video calls, do whatever it takes. And if you feel you don't have anyone at the moment that you can connect with, just open the door and go out for a walk. Go to the coffee shop, go to the mall, anywhere where you see people, where you see other faces. Maybe you talk to them, maybe not, but at least you're out of that environment that's making you feel gloomy and unhappy. Just get yourself busy. Engage in things that make you happy. And sometimes you say, oh, I'm too old to doing that. No, we're not too old to doing anything. Anything that makes us happy, we should do. Connect with family, see our grandchildren, talk to our kids and their kids over the phone, in person, meet with friends for a coffee, for lunch, just go and walk on the beach, in the park. It doesn't matter. Just anything that makes you happy and takes you out of your mood, your gloomy mood. Do it and make sure to. Because when we sit alone and when we think and when we start capitalizing, adding to those gloomy thoughts, things get more ambiguous and more uncertain. And we just feel more pressured. This is why it's important to try to bring ourselves out of this environment. And we know what helps us. We try it by trial and error. Maybe we don't know in the beginning, but we try. Maybe a walk helps, maybe reading a book. And then we top it up. We add to those techniques or strategies that are helping us. Because we are trying to build our resilience, which helps us cope under pressure, handle the pressure, but not only that, recover and keep moving forward. It's not enough to cope with what we have, with the pressure we have, with the stress. It's good to cope, but I don't want to stay here. I want to move forward. I want to move on, and I want to transform the rest of my experience. So it's very important to do it gradually and try to do the things that you like most first or that are easier first. So prioritize, see what you want to start with. Maybe I want to start improving my food, what I eat, make it more nutritious. How much I sleep, I should sleep more. If I can't sleep, make sure that I don't have light in the room. Let me do that so it gets darker and I can sleep and get some rest. When I wake up, I call someone, meet them outside, go for a walk, do a bit of exercise. Anything that makes me happy and anything that relaxes me is what I want to do. So here are our ABCs. Admit that it's all right to be under pressure and stressed. It's okay, but I want to handle it. Address it. Use those strategies that you built to yourself to beat the stress, and then celebrate, because this is an accomplishment. Thank you very much for your time. And if you have questions, please go ahead and ask.
Thank you, Dr. Aline. And we're moving now to question and answer. I do have a question for Kinga. How do I know if I'm unwell?
Hi. You know when you're unwell, when is something unusually happening in your environment. Listen to your body. It is sometimes very good to just take a 1 minute pause, sit down and listen what is your body telling you. Always remember you are in charge. Always remember that your body will tell you what is going on. And I don't want to give advice because I am not an expert in anyone's life and everyone is different. We are all individuals. But if that already is crossing your mind that I might not be my usual self, that might be a sign like, you know what, maybe I should talk to someone. And it doesn't need to be a, mental health specialist. It can be your friend. It can be somebody you know, or it can be a provider who is supporting you. I work with people who sometimes building fantastic relationship with support workers or cleaners, and they can sometimes having a little chat and navigating the emotion. But always remember, if that already is crossing your mind, I might not be well, ask for help and give yourself permission. That's okay. If I ask for help, and it is okay to seek help. And there is a plenty of services who will welcome you with open arms and provide you support and advice. And as Dr. Aline Nassar said, it is absolutely important that you address this. Thank you.
Thank you, Kinga. I have another question for Dr. Aline. What tips do you have for outcoming feeling of uncertainty as we're moving into the new way of life post-COVID?
Thank you, Rania, but the very first bit of the question I didn't hear.
What tips do you have for overcoming feelings of uncertainty as we move into the new way of life post-COVID? Thank you.
Sure. It's very normal to be uncertain, and I'm going to share with you my own experience. We're homeschooling, and when we started homeschooling and working from home as parents, we were uncertain what's going to happen. We got a bit anxious about it. And now that we're going back to normal and the girls are going back to school next week, now I'm uncertain how to reorganize my days, because the routine that we lived in for 4 months is changing again. Although it's changing for better, but it's still change. And we as human beings are always uncertain when there is change. So what we do is we just allow ourselves to take it easy. So we take it as it comes. So we're going to be uncertain of a lot of things. For example, I'm not certain if it's safe to go out. I don't keep myself home because I'm not certain if it's safe. I go out, but I take precautions. So I have my sanitizer, I have my face mask, and I go out and I gradually retrain myself to going back to the normal, which is the new normal, keeping myself safe, because now we have new things that we should worry about, which are keeping our distance from people, not sharing food, for example, using our sanitizers and masks. So things are new to us and they have changed, and that creates a bit of tension and anxiety and maybe pressure. We're a bit worried. We just have to gradually train ourselves to going back to normal, but we need to push ourselves to go back to normal. I am going to challenge myself. I know I can make it. I know I can do it, but we push ourselves gradually, step by step. We just don't go out all the way everywhere and then get worried, what if? Just do it gradually, but push yourself to training or retraining yourself to going back to normal.
Thank you, Dr. Aline. I do have one more question. Is the hypnotherapy or EFT tapping useful for anxiety or stress?
Excuse me, if the person who asked the question would like to elaborate more, probably take themselves off mute and what they're expecting as an answer.
So let's move forward for this one. I will leave it if we get more details. We'll come back to it. I do have another question. How a big role does exercise play in improving our mental health?
Kinga, would you like to go ahead?
Sure, I can. I think sometimes we as a human being, and especially after being such a long time in a lockdown and being in a very coughing environment, we do not join the dots that physical exercising and movement are leading to us being well, being and affect our wellness in general, not just the physical wellness, but mental health. When you exercise, you are starting to not just moving your body, but as well you exercising your brain. And what that means that there's no magic pill to stop aging, and it's not magic pill that we will, give us 5-10 years because we exercise, so we will look younger, but we can think younger. Okay, we can start exercise and start seeing ourselves as people who actually can, 3 days ago, I couldn't lift my hand and take that cup from a shelf, but after a couple of stretches, I can move my hand a little bit further and it's much easier. And those little baby steps will make you feel better. And it will improve how you're seeing others. And always remember, focus on that what you can do. Focus on that what you do well. Never think about that I done something wrong or I need to improve something. Start to think what I can do differently and focus on your strength. And yes, I definitely believe that exercises, fresh air especially, and if you can't go outside, that's okay. Walk around your table, do a couple of just gentle stretches with your arms or with your legs. It will already make you feel better. It will already pump that dopamine into your brain, which makes you happy. And I can share with you my personal experience. I'm a very lazy person. Every morning I'm waking up and I promise myself I will go for a walk. Today is that day. And then I sit in front of a computer. I work till 7 p.m. I feel tired, overwhelmed, burned out, don't have a time for my partner, for my child. And then I stop and then I think, whose fault is this? And unfortunately, the answer is, it is me, because I am the person who makes those choices. I am this person who make a choice to not having a cup of tea during the day or pause or having a lunch or go for that walk. And I always believe tomorrow is a new day and I will make those changes. And even if that will mean I just open the door and put one foot outside, it is already progress. And that means I achieve something. So make sure you appreciate what you're doing, and make sure you are grateful for that what you got. And even if that's just tiny little thing in your life where you can move from one chair to the other chair, that's a blessing.
Thank you, Kinga. But I do
Thank
have
you.
another question for you,
Can I
if you don't
please,
mind.
Rania, sorry, can I please add
Yeah.
to what Kinga has beautifully described? I would like to also add by saying to everybody, when we go out to exercise, this is something, it's a blessing. It's not something that we have to do, because it's not a must. It's something that will make me feel better. Because when we win, or when we do something, when we accomplish, the very first thing we do is like, yay, we get things out, the energy comes out and we express. And this is exactly what exercise is. You're moving your body, you're letting those stresses and pressures that are in come out, either through walking or moving the body. So you have a door for those pressures that are sitting inside, for those unpleasant thoughts, for those sad thoughts to come out. So open this door for them to go out. And whilst doing this, you're getting fresh air, you're seeing new people, you're transforming your mood from being in a place sitting doing nothing to being active. And then that would give you a lot of energy, physically speaking. That will give you a lot of energy and will transform your mood, help transform your mood 100%. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. I just, sorry, have one more question for Kinga. Anxiety can affect our sleep. Are there any tips to help?
Yes. And I do agree, anxiety can affect your sleep, and can not just affect your sleep, but every day, actually, what you're doing, how you're acting in your activity. But focusing on the sleep, what is very important to have a sleep routine and establish that routine. Cut on any electronic devices just before you're going to bed. Try to not have your phone, or if you're using iPad or you have a computer, in a place where you sleep. Have your little routine. For example, have depends what you can drink, but have a cup of milk with a honey before, I don't know, when you decided you want to go to bed around 9 p.m., have that cup of milk at 8 o'clock. Then decided when is the time for the routine for having a shower or putting your nighties on or jammers. And just before you lie down, if you try to sit on a bed and start using breathing techniques, it is very good to take a very deep breath, focusing on that, where you're starting to breathe, where that emotions are, where the anxiety is placed in your, upper body, is placed in your heart, is placed in your stomach. Focus on this and breathe. Start to count to 10. And when you're taking a deep breath, start to think like, I am okay, I feel safe. And this is, again, not a magic. It takes practice when you're trying to do a body scan and focusing on a different part of your bodies. I will really recommend it to read and think about maybe talking to your GP about your guidance, how you can do the body scan. It is a very, very easy exercise. You can do that for 5-10 minutes just before you go to bed. And exercises, again, don't do that just before you go to bed, because you need to cool down, but 2-3 hours before you routine start, you prepare yourself to bed. Exercises, again, will increase the pump of a dopamine and will lower your anxiety and stress. Sometimes very soft, relaxing music can help. Try to not watch any news just before you go to bed. Don't watch scary movies. Don't read any scary stories, because things like that can increase your anxiety. And sometimes we think, oh, I am anxious about, and I'm making that up about, actually not making, about my son just going out and playing football, and watching a horror movie will not affect me. And this is wrong, because watching that scary stories will increase you anxiety and will start make you feel anxious and more nervous. Talking to a friend just before, if you have an opportunity, or with a family member or with your neighbor, just you starting your routine is as well good, and actually share your emotion. Say like, look, I feel today not comfortable. I feel a little bit that my, you know, in my chest, I can feel that heaviness. Talk about this. Try to express yourself. Mindfulness before bedtime. Maybe, I don't know, if you're enjoying any art activities, drawing or crochet or painting, that kind of little things can help you to relax, because anxiety, it is related to that relaxation techniques and methods. And I am very happy for you if you would like to have a little bit more knowledge about relaxation techniques and what kind of apps you can use. I can send forward that to Rania, and she can share with all of you. So they are free apps, so you can use them at any point of the time. What is a little bit contradicting to cutting off the technology, but sometimes it might be very useful. Thank you.
Thank you, Kinga. I think now we are at the time. At the end, I would like to thank our speakers, Kinga Barron and Dr. Aline. And I would like to thank our Chair President Barbara Ward, and our General Manager Adrian. He couldn't make it today because he has to go to urgent meeting, and our board for their leadership. And I would like to thank our supporter in New South Wales Health. And I would like to encourage all of you to join share classes if you haven't already. Please, at the end, on the chat room, there's a survey. If you don't mind, I would love to hear your feedback in this seminar. And please stay safe and have a lovely day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for inviting me. It was absolutely a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for the invite. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you. It was.
Thank you. That was lovely.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much.